Hey, in today's video, we're going to talk about how to create a social media calendar, and we're going to be doing this from a template. So what you can actually see on the screen right here is a free template from a tool called Monday.com, a project management tool. And what you can do is you can click this button, get this template now. The link for this is in the description below. And after a couple minutes, you got to sign up for a free account. They have a 14-day free trial. What you're going to have is this template right here. Now, this is really powerful because this is a project management tool. This is not like just a scheduling software like a Hootsuite or something like that. This is going to allow you to do a lot of automations and different things to be able to see some views for yourself so that you can manage the chaos that is running a social media team. All right, so what you can see here is that these are all items, and these items are inside of groups. So this week is a group, next week is a group, and this exists in a board called social media calendar. So that's some of the lingo of Monday.com. And what you would do is you can name, post one, whatever you want. And then if you want, you can actually have a conversation around that post right here. So you can tag team members and be able to have a history of communication for each post. But you're going to have a person who is responsible for that post, right? And then what you can see here is you can choose where this is going. And you might notice that this is a little bit dated, so we don't have a TikTok on here. So why don't we add TikTok? So it's easy to add TikTok to the list now. So if we want to actually say this is a TikTok post, there we go. And then like what kind of category is it? And you can add edit labels and add it there as well. If you want to add a designer to this, and then you can have different statuses. This is really important for this, and I'm going to show you why these statuses are so important in a second, okay? And then let's say the writer is person 2, and they're the copywriter. I actually got it in the wrong one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to X them on this one, and then just go up here, and then put person 2 in there. And then I'm going to say this is stuck, and then I'm also going to say this one's stuck. And then publication, is it scheduled, is it published, whatever it may be, all right? So the reason that those statuses are so important, I'm going to show that to you right now when you're putting together your social media calendar, is you can go in here and there's filters. So the way the filters work is they work left to right, kind of the same way that everything else does. So you have post 1, then it goes to person, channel, etc. So let's say for the designer, under the design, what I want to do is I want to see all designs that are stuck. So when I click that, now what you see is just the posts or the items, post 5 and 6, that are stuck. And if I want to add to the filter, I could also say, you know what, I want to see everything that's stuck. So show me the copywriter too, if the copywriter is stuck on anything. So if I click that, it's got to do both of them. But if I uncheck that one, now what I'm seeing is just things that are stuck with the copywriter. So if you're somebody who's managing a team, incredibly helpful, because you can train them to say, hey, I don't care if you're stuck on something. I just need to know if you're stuck so that we can work through that. What do you need? That kind of thing. So I'm going to clear the filters here by going up here, and then I'm just going to uncheck that stuck filter. So filters are very powerful because this is a pretty simple template right now, but as you get going, you're going to have a lot of different posts, a lot of things happening because social media can be an endless cycle. You want to be able to see where people are stuck. Now, the other thing that's really helpful too is you can have publish dates. So when is this going to publish? So you can see that this is kind of back a ways, right? This was created a little bit ago. So I want to go up to 2022, and then I'm going to put this in the future, that this one's into the future. So now what you can do is up here, these are our views. This is our main table view, but if I click this plus sign, I can click add view. And then maybe I want to see one that's a calendar view. So I like looking at things in an actual calendar. So what that'll do is this becomes a new calendar for you, and then you can see this as what's going to be published in the future, because you can see I just changed this one to the 12th, and you can name it whatever you want, but I'm just going to leave it as calendar view. So now if you want to toggle back and forth between main table and calendar, this is where you'll see this show up. So let's say that we end up changing something else too, all right? So this one, we're going to make this 2022 again, and then I'm going to put this one towards the end of the month, all right? So this is a cloud environment, so everything's updating in live time. So if I go to calendar, now you'll see post 3 in here. So this is really helpful because everybody's preferences are different. Some people like to see a calendar view. Some people might like to see more of a like Gantt chart view. So this is what a Gantt chart is. This is like, it's kind of like a calendar, except it's a little bit more linear, right? So if we go up here and you zoom in here, we're on years right now. Why don't we look at weeks? Or you know what, why don't we look at days? So now what you can do is it's left to right, and you can see, okay, that's post 1. And then if you go down, you're going to see post 2 up here, post 3, excuse me. So that's the way that works. One of the other powerful features of this as well is you can create a dashboard. So dashboards are super helpful because you can put everything that matters to you in one view, and you can really customize it. Like if you want to shrink this down here, this calendar view, but then you're like, you know what, I want a new item. You can create new items or you can add widgets, right? So let's see numbers. Let's see if we get anything from that. All right, numbers are 0, but let's go back to the main table. Let's say that there was an actual cost assigned to every single one of these things, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this numbers, and then I'm going to say that this particular post costs us $25. And maybe you're figuring this out because the hourly rate of your designer and writer or whatever. So it's probably going to be higher than that. Why don't we just call it 50? And I'm just going to make this 50 right on down the board, right? And you can see that it's automatically updating that sum number at the bottom here. So what should happen, let's see if it works. If I go back here and then we go into numbers, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into settings, and I'm going to click this button right here, numbers. You can see that this is now $200. And the cool thing is you can choose specifically what groups this is going to be for. So is this week, next week, all groups? Right now we'll leave it as all groups. But now on your dashboard here, and you can change this if you want. You can change the name. I think you can actually just change it from here. Total cost for next week, all right? So I'm going to make this next week. And then if we go into the settings, all right, and then what I'm going to do is choose groups. I'm going to uncheck this week, and you can see that it goes to 0. All right, so it's that easy to do. And then if you're like, well, you know what, I want to see this week as well, all you do is click here, you duplicate. All right, we're duplicating this widget, and this one is going to be for this week. Total cost for this week. All right, and it's this easy to do. You just go in, you choose the right group, and now what we're going to do is we're going to do this week. So now on our dashboard here, I can see a content calendar. I can see the total cost assigned for next week, this week. If I want this one to be lower, I just drag it like that because that would make sense. I want to see this week first. It's just such a simple and easy tool to be able to do those things. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, I'm just going to touch on this just a little bit. Actually, I want to touch on 2 things. One of them is that you have apps over here. So there's so many different things that you can do. So like if I look up Facebook, there's going to be apps where I can monitor and manage your marketing campaigns. You can embed your Facebook feed right into your account here. Let's see if there's anything for Twitter. Embedded Twitter feed. I wonder if there's some for TikTok. That's a little bit newer. I didn't think there would be yet. But you can see how you can add integrations and be able to put things in. The other cool thing too is we can look at workflows. So your workflow center is up here. All right. So let's say we have a new group and I don't want to see anything for this week. I want it to be moved to just finished posts. All right. So what we're going to do is anything that becomes published, the moment it becomes published, I want it to automatically go down into finished posts. So what I'm going to do is click on Workflow Center. And when status is, they already have one that's created for this. When status changes to something, move item to group. This one's going to work perfectly. Or you could actually create a custom workflow over here. But since we already have one, I'm just going to click this. So what I want to do is click status, and then I'm going to find select a column. It was already on there, but let's see here. Add a new column, add to board. All right. So when status is changed to done, then move to group, and then you can see finish project, create automation. So this is really important learning right here, is that when you create an automation, it doesn't go and change things that happened in the past. It just changes things going forward. So now let's take a look at post 1 here that I'm highlighting. If I was to go across and I said, you know what, this has been published, you're going to see this, and then it should, in a second here, just move it down into the finished post. So every once in a while this happens where I don't see an automation work correctly. So what you got to do is just kind of troubleshoot it. So if you go up here, this is where your active workflows are, and you're like, something's not quite right. Let me edit this and see if I can figure it out. What I think it is I picked the wrong status. So let me see here. Publication status, that's why. All right, update workflow. All right. So now what should happen is I'm going to change this back to scheduled, and then I'm going to put it to published. Let's see what happens. Boom. It just moved down to the finished post section. Now, it's really up to you. Like, you may not want it to do that, but you can see the power of this doing this because there's so many different workflows and automations that you can choose from. And some of them that are really powerful is this one right here. When column changes, notify someone and create an update with this text. So let's say that we want to do something where the designer can say they're stuck. All right. So I want to create a workflow right here, and it says when column, and I'm going to call it designer, changes, notify, and what I'm going to do is person, and I'm going to make this me. All right, username. All right, it's going to have that person in the username. Click done here, and then notify someone, me. All right, and then create an update with this text. And all I'm going to say is Let's see if I can find design. Item name. All right, item name is stuck. All right, so I'm gonna click done. All right, let's see if this works here. All right, back to automations. So this one's a little bit trickier, but we have it under the design. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna click stuck. So what that's gonna do is that's gonna fire an automatic email to let somebody know that they're stuck. And it doesn't have to be the administrator, you know, in this particular case, it could be somebody who's the direct manager, whatever it may be. But when you're doing this and you're training your staff to say, hey, if you're stuck, just click this and do stuck, it's going to notify somebody automatically so that they can have a conversation around that and get that project rolling. So again, there is a link in the description to this template. It is a free template that you can check out. Monday.com has a free trial for 14 days. If you do end up purchasing it, I may receive a commission because it is an affiliate link. So I appreciate you using that link to support the channel. So the last thing we have on the screen here are two videos. One is a beginner's guide walkthrough, which we've kind of touched upon on this video a little bit, but the second one is a little bit more into the weeds on automations and workflows and how you can make Monday.com work for you. All right, I'll catch you in the next video.